So this means that we have a total of 10 bans here in this competition. So the players get 2 extra on each team for a total of 4 bonus chat bans at the start. And then they go in the lobby, and then they do the remaining 6 of them here on this screen. And will this work? Sure. Why not? It looks amazing.
Oh man, I wasn't even paying attention, and Malakudi wrote the chat bans in the chat. So Kasten, Nidalee, Kha'Zix, and Jace.
And Zyra.
Those are actually, like, surprisingly standard bans for a first-round game.
Yes. Yes, they are. Wukong being banned as well. Just a brief explanation on why those guys get banned. Kasten and Kha'Zix are the best AP and the best AD assassin.
Oh yeah, you're not
Dominion.
using the summoner blockers overlay.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, I sent you 2 overlays. One of them has blockers and the other one doesn't have blockers.
Well, this is working. I'm not going to mess with it. I'll play with the other one later. I didn't realize that they were slightly different, so I just picked one of them. Because I was looking at the thumbnails in the folder. I didn't actually click to the full size one.
Oh, well, the names of the files were DG Tournament Overlay No Blockers and
Oh,
DG
I couldn't read those on my
blockers.
TV. I'm sorry. Fun fact for you viewers at home, I'm gonna click the overlay off for a second here. This down here that you see at the bottom, this game info, I can't read that on my TV just because of the way the TV displays or outputs. It's a little blurry to me. It's crystal clear if it's on my monitor or if I look at the XSplit preview, but when I'm actually looking at my screen, I have no idea what this says. So when I'm reading like file names or stuff like that, I can't see a darn thing. The fonts just display awkwardly. Like the DominateDominion channel name in the bottom is also a little bit tough to read.
It's true that we haven't seen a Maokai ban in forever, but he's played all the time.
Well,
I feel like he has the highest ratio of like number of times that he's played to number of times that he's banned. Like most champions that you see played all the time will be banned sometimes. You never see a Maokai ban.
no, he is not banned too often. He's an extremely powerful champion. Jarvan is another character that we see picked. Then there he's being highlighted in the champ select. Jarvan's another character that is an extremely powerful pick, but does not eat very many bans. Sometimes, in-house, I will ban him just because he gets picked so much. And then something far worse gets through, like Wukong. And I'm like, oh wait, I remember why we let J4 get through. He's okay.
Yeah, Jarvan is one of those champions where, like, if you don't know what map you're playing on, and you don't know your team composition, and you don't know their team composition, Jarvan's an okay pick.
Just pick Jarvan. He works on every map. He works with every team comp. I think Jarvan, I've said this before, but I really think Jarvan is just the best made character in this entire game. Like, he's solid. He can be damage or he can be tanky. He's highly disruptive. Just try and name someone better than Jarvan. I do want to hype up this first pick, RCIX Fizz. Now, RC9 here, and I'm going to cycle through different ways of pronouncing his name. It's RC9. The IX is Roman numeral. RC9 plays a lot of Fizz, and he's just done a lot of work on that champion, like thinking about the build and the play style and things like that. So it'll be really hype for me as a viewer to actually be able to see him compete, because we don't see him appear too often here. So this is really awesome. And Fizz is a character that is easily shut down by silences. Silences are absolutely brutal. And yeah, there's that RCX, I think he's posting a shortened link in there. It's a little bit of info about the build and how he plays Fizz. So I'm really going to be interested to see that. As I'm watching them go through their picks, I'm not seeing a lot that immediately counters Fizz. Now, the Invulnerable from Kale is extremely useful for putting that on whoever his Chum the Waters target is, and that can deny that pretty darn hard. And we're seeing Cat J4, Vi, no crowd control really from Vi. She does get the suppress briefly. Jarvan brings an airborne to the table, but that's a one-off. You have to wait some seconds left, and then Cat doesn't have a crowd control either. Now, if we look on the other side, we see Darius and Karma, and these are characters that are really good at controlling people because of Apprehend and Karma's Snare. So it's going to set up some opportunities for Fizz to really put on the hurt. Now, Fizz can work well in top lane or bottom lane. RCIX, I know, to do a little bit more top lane Fizz than bottom lane. That's probably what we'll see him at in this comp. But they haven't picked a bottom laner that jumps out and says, wow, man, this is like their bottom lane pick. So maybe they're going to clean it up with these last two lock-ins here. Look at the bans real quick. Zyra and Brand have an extremely powerful zoning ability and damage throughout the course of the game. And that's why you see those guys being picked up there. And we're going to see Malzahar locked in. Now, Malzahar is a very solid bottom lane character. He is vulnerable to ganking, but his damage output and his ability to harass from a distance are very good. He also sets up amazing ganks with his ultimate. But if you see Malz in the bottom lane against your lane opponent, go down there and gank for your buddy, because you can take out a Malz if you just go down there and get him. But you have to actually do that, or Malz can run the show. So he really highlights how important ganks are to this game mode. And we're seeing Xin Zhao as well. And Xin has out of control hair and an airborne. The thing is, it takes him time to apply that airborne, which is a little bit rough sometimes. And Xin Zhao's dash is a trap, because you want to use it to engage, but you can't. You need to walk up to them, start the fight, use the dash after they've already used their escape or their gap closer, or their gap creator, rather. So let's say you walk up on a Syndra, you eat a stun, but you dashed into her and then got stunned, she's just going to walk away from you and you can't catch up to her. Except maybe if you've got your Youmu's up and she's just a little bit away, you might be able to recover that gap after a second or two of running, but usually with the stun time, a Syndra can just back off and kite, and you can't catch up to her. So you gotta walk up, you have to eat that stun, and then you have to go in. That's one of Xin Zhao's issues in this game mode, is you have to eat whatever stun, or force them to use their escape, and then dash to catch up to them. TLDR version is you can just walk away from Xin Zhao. It's very sad. Because you don't run a lot of flash in this game mode, so you don't have the ability to just suddenly get back up in their face. And it takes 3 swings to get a airborne proc from 3 Talon Strike, which means if there's a Randy's or Malphite or Frozen Heart on the other side, then it's going to take you longer to apply that crowd control.
It also makes fighting within minions more important, because you can prep the 3 Talon Strike before you actually get there.
Yes, and you can hold on to it for a couple seconds too, and then get the dash in immediate airborne. I've been playing a lot of Xin Zhao recently. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning things. And over on the other side, it looks like they've rounded their picks out with Swain. And Swain's another one of those characters where we'll probably see Swain. It's either going to be Swain or J4 bottom. They could go Kayle bottom, but that would leave them really hurting for ranged up top. Although, neither team really has a ranged champion. I mean, Kayle, the more CDR Kayle is, the more ranged she is. I'm rooting for RCIX to win. There we go. That's my pick. This game, either team can win. RCIX will get a bunch of kills.
There's very few crowd controls for the Katarina ult. The only non-ultimate one is Call of the Void, Malzahar Q. And assuming that he's bot lane... Oh yeah, there's Apprehend also. Okay.
If he pockets that Apprehend, it's really safe.
Yeah.
As long as he pockets the Apprehend, it's really safe. If they coordinate with each other really well, then that's what Darius will do. Then that'll be his job. Don't Apprehend until Cat ults. Or if Cat's dead, then you just do whatever you want to. As long as you keep a CC pocketed, especially with the ult duration increase of a half a second is going to make it.
Oh yeah, that's live, easier. Isn't it?
The Xin Airborne, Wolf, we were just talking about how that's not always completely reliable, because he does have to get 3 swings in. If he pops 3 Talon Strike, Cat's ult's going to be over by the time he lands all 3 of those, unless he's got his Ghostblade procced. like, he won't be able to interrupt it as readily as Darius can. He does attack pretty quickly, but she's still going to get off a lot more damage than she will if Darius pockets the Apprehend instead. And hey, Vinyl LB is actually playing in the game. That's cool. I was wondering why that name looked familiar. I'm used to seeing it in Twitch chat without the space in it. This is going to be the round of 16, I believe. Yeah, there you go. That's the move. Wolfer's got it right in the chat. If you, just like Rheingold was saying, if you can get a couple of hits off on his allies or minions or something like that, so you can have that immediate airborne, then you can use that on Cat. As long as the buff doesn't time out before Cat decides to ult. It all comes down to really narrow timings in the end of, is Cat going to use her ult at a good time where she can get that damage? Is she going to watch for the CC to be applied elsewhere before she uses it? We'll find out. Let's just hope one of her allies doesn't bring Chum the Waters over to her right as she ults, because that's always tragic.
That would be so sad. Like a last second Chum the Waters hits onto Jarvan, then he EQs right on top of Katarina.
You know,
generally Jarvan wants to EQ right on top of Katarina because then you can use Cataclysm to trap them within Dust Lotus, but not if you have a fish attached to you.
If you have really, you know that you have good friends when you play League of Legends and you kite zillion bombs and Chum the Waters to your friends to get them killed, and they don't disown you afterward. That's how you know good people in this game.
I thought you were going to say that you know good people if they would never bring a Chum the Waters to you in game.
We're gonna see if this overlay fits too. No, you have to be able to send your teammates to the grave. Like this one time when we were running away from a Katarina and I was a Mumu and my friend was playing Ashe. We're retreating in mid lane and we're both like, well, Ashe is definitely gonna get murdered range. I have enough health, right? So I stop running for a second to get between Ashe and Cat so I could let the enemy Cat shunpo to me and then bouncing blade Ashe and kill her, and then I stunned her and walked away. I think I'm a bad person.
You're the worst kind of person.
Hey, that makes up for the time that the Blitzcrank that was almost dead pulled the enemy Darius over to me and him, and then flashed away so that Darius could ult me. That was also pretty bad. This game is a lot of fun. Okay, let's see if this doesn't quite fit my screen resolution.
You have to fit everything to screen.
Oh wait, you know what? I'm actually not set up on the 1080 right now.
You have to fit everything to screen.
Okay.
I
can't change that without turning the stream off and on.
I see. Alright, well after this game.
I know, I might not worry about it, because I have to take everything down and turn it back on, because I have to change my resolution at next split, because I'm back on the TV, so I can switch everything back to 1080. I've been doing 720 recently. We'll worry about that later. This is going to be the round of 16 game, I believe, for the DominateDominion.com League of Legends Dominion Tournament number 77. On the left side, we have last possible option, question mark. They have RCX, or they have RC9 playing as Fizz, Spawn Legacy playing as Darius, Afro Dynasty playing as Karma, Bahamut Prime playing as Malzahar, and Ragnarok playing as Zinzal. I'm one half of your commentators. This week I am Gander, and commentating with me is
Rheingold River, and the other half of the players in this game is Penguin Peng on Vi. I remember him from last week because he has an excellent name. Seaman2002 on Swain. Final LB playing Kale. Gandamu Tanaka on Katarina, and Jake Master64 rounding out the composition on Jarvan.
Both teams heading up to the upper portion of the map. Afro with a little bit of poke there from Karma coming across the street at Jarvan. Jarvan dropping the flag. And both teams playing very conservative, waiting for their allies to get here. They just want to do the click back and forth, interrupt, a little bit of poke, while they wait for whoever was capping middle point to show up. Apprehend on Darius. He's going to take a lot of damage.
Yeah, he goes down there to the Hemo Plague, and Karma with a lot of damage. Also, Spawn Legacy is going to fall first, though, the exhaust onto Katarina, and Penguin Peng can't quite get out. There's the reset for Katarina, needs to get one more of those, or wait a little bit, has Shenpo back now. Swain running away, has the Never Move available in 2, and looks like they're going to wait for revives, except Vi and Jarvan are actually saving their revives there over on the side of Average Joe's. Never Move comes down. Katarina going to have to run away from the other direction. There's the Apprehend onto Karma. She's surely going to go down. Gets exhausted. Onto Swain. Going to go down. 4 stacks of hemorrhage. Bleeding for quite a bit. There's the snare. And Karma picks up the kill. I'm very surprised that they didn't use their revives there.
Now that Apprehend turned out to work out for the best. I felt like Darius was maybe a little bit too far away from his team to pull that off, but they were really able to get J4 down, and J4 once again, oh dear, that interrupt.
Yeah, that was a really nice interrupt of the dash. Afro Destiny is alone on the point now, though, and Katarina gets a Bouncing Blade. He's going to survive with 30 HP, but there's an Apprehend, though, and Katarina going to fall once again.
The Spawn Legacy has been on it with Apprehend so far this game.
Yeah.
Penguin Peng is going to be able to dash away. Minion trying to help out. Jarvan able to catch up. And there's the Airborne from the Chum the Waters. And it looks like Xin Zhao is going to pick up that KB. No assist on Darius, strangely. Looks like he didn't quite tag Vi before that happened. Now Swain by himself.
Over in the bot lane, though, we have Malzahar has already gotten the neutral onto the Boneyard. And Kill generally is thought of as a good pusher. There's the Suppress, though, still stuck on the null zone. Those Voidlings are just eating through her health, and she's going to have to recall probably. Has the ult, gets the Judgment Stun down, but the ult expires, and it's Malzahar with the kill.
And those Voidlings really helping contribute in that fight. Kale back with the revive is going to force Bahamut Prime away. Kale is going to be able to recapture that tower, no problem at all. RC9 in the center of the map is going to pick up the Storm Shield for his team and bring that up towards the upper portion of the map. And I want to watch how RC9 approaches this fight. Does not have his sweeper yet, so he couldn't check this beforehand. It turned out okay. There was no trap laid for him. He'll be fine. He's a little bit sectioned away from his team, but by sitting around here, he can spot that they haven't come out of those bushes. He saw them retreat from over by the health relic, so he knows roughly where they are. Airborne on Afro. Afro going to have to retreat, has that move speed increase on himself and that slow on the others. And Kale being picked up as she moves up towards the upper part of the map.
I didn't have intervention from before when she used it to fight Malzahar. Chum the Waters does come down, but Fizz goes down. Double kill. There's a kill for Darius. Penguin Peng getting chased down, but the W from Karma and the Apprehend and cannot quite survive. And it's Karma who picks that up.
Now that Chum the Waters landed in the middle of Darius' ultimate, which created a perfect situation for all of that damage to land.
And Swain is actually exchanged with Kale down to the bot lane because Kale just couldn't 1v1 Malzahar. Generally, Kale is very good at pushing, but nothing can outpush Malzahar. And without any ranged harass, Malzahar is just going to sit from range and sort of do whatever he wants. And Kale can't really do anything about it. Xin Zhao gets focused down. They were a little bit overextended, but they did manage to get the neutral onto the drill. And now going to have to recap that. Average Joe's is going to have to recap that. Jarvan face checking into 2. There's the Apprehend coming in.
That deny once again from Spawn. It's the second time it's happened this game, stopping Jarvan from being able to escape. And RC9 with the exhaust is going to be able to get out of there.
And Afro Destiny with another kill there with his Q, Inner Flame, puts the leash across and gets the snare. And that's just a ton of damage onto Kale. Meanwhile, Malzahar has actually gotten the kill onto Swain in bot lane and has the point 1/3 of the way captured. Katarina waiting in Fountain. Jarvan's not going bot. He's still going to the top point. Not only is that the point capture, but it's also the quest objective.
In the last team fight that we saw while RC9 left while exhausted, if it wasn't RC9, that would have been a easy double kill from Playful Trickster damage. RC9 prefers to level his Urchin Strike before Playful Trickster, which is what we commonly see other Fizz players do. So in that particular instance, we saw it be a little bit detrimental to him.
Yeah, definitely trade-offs when you decide what to level, and he's actually leveling his Seastone Trident before Playful Trickster, which is not something you typically see. That is a dunk onto Jarvan, and he did get the reset, so he has a little bit more time to fight, but Kale comes in, gets exhausted. There's the dunk because he knew he'd go down anyway. He doesn't actually go down yet. It's Katarina who picks up the kill. Double kill for Jarvan, excuse me, coming in after Katarina died. After Dynasty now getting chased down a little bit, had the exhaust down. Needs to get the slows off in order to survive, and actually not running towards the speed shine. There's the juke over the side. And should not actually be able to survive here. The mantra came back up. She got the mantra W and it filled. And chasing a Karma who has mantras is just like chasing a Janna.
That was also really awkward exhaust timing from Karma, because Jarvan had used all of his abilities to engage and drop that Cataclysm, and then Karma threw the exhaust down afterward when he was sort of just sitting there auto-attacking, waiting for cooldowns. It looks like it still helped in the long run, but it just felt a little strange. J4 again picking up the health relic. Karma now is going to get tagged by that Reckoning, and once again Jarvan is going to be deterred from that airborne by Spawnless's presence. Was not, though, from the apprehend this time, just simply by him appearing and Jarvan willing to move out of the way.
But intervention isn't down anymore. Swain coming up. They've rotated the bot lane already. Sin picks up the kill onto Jarvan and Kale both. They were super low, but Katarina with a ton of damage there finally gets knocked up by that 3 Talon Strike, and it's a double kill for Swain.
Alright, and it looks like they are going to turn around. They're going to get their first windmill capture of the game. RC9 on his way to the top. Has those Ionian boots and that Blackfire Torch. That Blackfire Torch is going to significantly improve his burst potential by being able to put that damage debuff on them. Mal's having to deal with a Vi now in the bottom lane. She dashes through, throws down the suppress. Mal's retreating now, down at about half health. But with Karma here for the gank, we have Katarina responding, although is she going to be able to turn this fight around?
I don't think she is. Malzahar should have his ult, and it's up in 2-1, so he has Nether Grasp up now, and he's probably going to use it here. Gets the call of the Void Silence. That means that the only way to interrupt the Katarina ult is with his ult, and he's actually just going to go down there to Cat.
Yeah, Kale coming down, even if Mal's had been able to secure the kill there.
Top lane, though, we have the Cataclysm coming across. Chum the Waters onto Jarvan. He gets knocked up. He was going to go down. Xin Zhao picks up that kill credit, and Xin Zhao now with 11 kills. Yomu's Lucidity boost completed, and banking a decent amount of gold still.
Afro Dynasty keeping the bottom point neutral. That's a play that I really enjoy. That
and Ragnarok just dueled Katarina while she was channeling her Death Lotus the entire time. He didn't even care. He didn't need an interrupt. He was just willing to tank that lifesteal, and just they traded 1 for 1. And he might have gotten out alive if Katarina didn't have backup.
Yeah, that is something that we see occasionally. Katarina doesn't really start getting rolling until she has some items. That snare, they're going to take down Kale, and point still neutral in the bottom lane. Karma been an amazing delay on it so far. Jarvan on his way down to the bottom. And now with Cat here and Karma at low health, they might not want to go for this. Gonna do it instead. There is the Nether Grasp, and Jarvan is gonna get picked up. Cat picks up the double kill. That Voidling, look at him. He's so friendly. He's like, hey, he knows Katarina's the boss now.
Hug you. Can we have a hug, please? He's all lonely like a moo-moo.
He's even following Cat. He's such friendly.
That's really cute, actually. I didn't know that Voidlings did that after Malzahar died.
Yeah, they just kind of hang out.
Katarina just picks up 12 gold there. It's like a moo-moo. They just wanted a hug, but then they get killed. There's the apprehend onto Kale. Exhaust goes down also, but Swing is here with the never move. And those 5 stacks of hemorrhage, excuse me, are not going to lead to a kill.
Oh man, if you could stack Hemo Plague, that would be terrifying. RC9 and Cat cancel over here in the bushes. Both trading off.
Yeah, and Fizz actually got the kill after he had already died with the extra damage over time from his Season Trident, so it's definitely interesting to level that up first, but Karma with a ton of damage onto Swain, he's going to get intervened upon by Kale. Crescent Sweep comes across 1 for 1 so far, but Penguin Peng is going to go down, and Ragnarok is able to heal enough, be shielded enough, and he's just kind of really big right now.
And Bahamut Prime, successful in the bottom in dispatching Jarvan, is going to turn this tower around once again, and throughout the game we've seen them consistently get control of this bottom tower, or at least neutral it, and put up a substantial delay.
It was a good Wooglets there from Katarina, but Fizz also has an invulnerability, and Karma could just tank the Death Lotus. So she did end up going down. Her team is going to stop the point from going down, though, and that's the important thing.
Final, you know better. Bahamut is able to chase him away. He does get picked up by the minions of the Voidling, it looked like. And the Voidling, oh, the Voidling, so friendly, interrupting Katarina from that point.
Unfortunately, the Darius didn't get the reset on his ult. He just barely missed the killing blow. It went over to Xin instead. Chasing down onto Swain. Swain has a lot of kite with his Decrepify, but it's just not enough to withstand 3 people chasing you, all of whom have dashes or ways of pulling you towards them.
Shout out to Ro16, 2 deaths this game. That's all. Been pretty much the force to be reckoned with up in the top portion of the map.
Kel has intervention, but it's really not enough. You have the crippling strike from Darius, even is going to reduce that attack speed, and Kel thrives on attack speed. So Darius versus Kel. Kel sort of counters Darius really effectively with the intervention countering the Noxian Guillotine, but on the other hand, you have the crippling strike canceling Kel's attack speed, apprehend hitting the minion, and they're not even going to kill the minion. Darius went through all of that work to bring the minion over, and they didn't kill it. Instead, Chum the Waters goes down, a nice zone used by Katarina, but it's not going to be enough, and defensive Garrison comes in there from Jake Master, but not going to do too much, I don't think, as that is the ace, and that was actually an ace for 0 across the map. 2 seconds remain, and it's going to be LPO moving on to the round of 8.
Now, RC9 playing a great game, but also Bahamut Prime Mal's in the bottom, just going through champion after champion that they sent down there. He did an excellent job against Kale, Vi, Swain, and J4 at varying parts throughout the game. So, really solid performance from last possible option. And they're going to advance on to the next round. The casters, Governor, are myself, I am Gander, and my co-commentator is...
I'm Rheingold River.
There you go.
It's just 2 words. Rheingold is 1 word, and then River is another word.
Let's take a look at damage dealt to champions this game. And Xin Zhao out in front with 24k. And also, Xin Zhao combos pretty darn well with Darius. Darius has a lot of armor pen. Xin Zhao has armor reduction. With their powers combined, not even Thornmail. Not even Thornmail. Graveyard hero for this game is Vi. 193.
No, where's the post-game thing overlay?
What?
I sent you the post-game overlay also.
There's an overlay for the post-game lobby?
Yeah, I made it.
What?
I made it from scratch even.
Oh dear.
It is called
I'll have to check that out.
Post-game stats actual.png.
It did show graveyard here. Okay. We're going to have to find another game for you in a moment here.